And we even have some snow in parts of the state, so that really adds
Feels so
to
festive.
the. Yes, it definitely does. Man, we had quite a bit of snow and unfortunately a little bit of ice as well this weekend, which made for the roads to be very slick and hazardous. There were several accidents. We had our storm trackers out. We had Jeremy Carter, Val Castor, Hank Patty Brown, and of course there's just one of the many accidents that took place earlier this weekend. So a lot of obviously wet fell happened on Saturday afternoon and into the evening, and eventually that snow actually moved into parts of Oklahoma City, but it didn't obviously last very long, and a lot of it we saw that on the roofs the next morning. Now we can go to links 3, and I'm going to show you kind of where it all took place. So obviously the accumulation taking place really in northwest Oklahoma, but there were pockets of several inches of snowfall, anywhere from 5 to 6 to, in parts of Harper County, up to 7.8 inches just north of Buffalo up there. So obviously we also had a little bit of ice that took place kind of before the snow began to fall. So we were kind of on that freezing line there, and we did have up to around 1/4 of an inch in parts of northwest Oklahoma. And some of that snow still cold enough that it is still on the ground, and it could be there for the next couple of days or so. But in Oklahoma City, we didn't add any snowfall to the totals, but as far as November precipitation, we're at 1.19, but we are running a little bit below average. Not the case though temperature-wise. Now, the past few days have been a little cold. Temperatures not making it out of the 40s over the past couple of days at least, but with all the 60s, 70s, and 80s at the beginning of the month, we're actually 2.9 degrees above average so far for November. Dropping down though into the mid-20s earlier this morning in Oklahoma City, but we had a lot of spots in the teens across the northwest and even there in southwest Oklahoma. A couple of those showing up just to the east of Oklahoma City as well. But man, this is our downtown camera of our Lucky Star Skycam network. After a very cold start, at least we're warming up a little bit. It's still going to be cool throughout the afternoon, but we're at 48 degrees. That wind right now out of the west at about 6 miles an hour. Temperatures still in the 30s and 40s across the north, but we're starting to warm up into the upper 40s and low 50s across central and parts of southern Oklahoma, with the wind generally coming in out of the west between about 5 to 10. Now in far southwest Oklahoma, that wind's already out of the southwest, and later this evening in Oklahoma City, that wind will eventually go southwest as well. So just kind of looking at the big picture, we still have some snow showers over the Great Lakes, some cloud cover trying to move in from the south and west, and tomorrow should look a little bit like what we're expecting today. So high pressure's in control, and we're just going to add a few more clouds. The wind's going to be out of the south, and temperatures should warm up a little bit more. So it's going to be a few more days before our next storm system moves in, but it looks like it's still on track for moving in on Thursday. And it's going to be warm enough that most of what we're seeing really all across the state should be in the form of plain rain, but cannot rule out maybe a few snowflakes that could fall across parts of northwest Oklahoma. But any accumulation at this point looks to be minor at best. As we get closer to the weekend now, we're looking at Saturday. Another weak storm kind of passes off to the north. It could be just enough, though, to give us a few raindrops Saturday afternoon. After that, it looks dry for a while, and it does look milder with temperatures climbing back into the 50s and 60s. Can't be ruled out either. But today, looking for a high. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and make this about 52 degrees, okay? But temperatures staying in the 40s in the northwest. Overnight tonight, we're going to stay mostly clear, and I think we're dropping back down into the 20s. The low 20s, though, across the northwest, and upper 20s, low 30s across the south. Tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at about 56 degrees in Oklahoma City. That went out of the south to southwest between 10 to 20, so temperatures climbing into the upper 50s across southern half of the state. And then on Wednesday afternoon, we're still going to have that southwest wind between 10 to 20, and now we're looking at about 59 degrees in Oklahoma City. The mid and upper 50s generally across the north and northwest, but about 50 degrees there in Alva, 59 in Lawton, 60 degrees in Alta, 60 in Ardmore, and about 59 Wednesday afternoon in Durant. Thursday afternoon, I still think we make it back into the 50s. Here comes a chance of rain later in the afternoon and evening. Still looking at some possible rain by Thursday night, but by Friday morning, all of that should move off to the east. It looks dry, but it does look colder. We'll be right back.